Cheeseburger. Nothing ever really worked between us. From the beginning, our marriage was filled with complaints, accusations, and small battles that grew into cold wars. There were things we could have fixed, moments that could have been forgiven, but neither of us were ready to compromise. We were good parents, yes. She was a wonderful mother, caring, affectionate, and always attentive to our two kids. And I was a present, involved father, their world, when I was home. But somewhere between work, expectations, and ego, our marriage became a silent battlefield. As a construction supervisor, I was posted at different sites. Most weekdays, I stayed near the work site and only returned home on weekends. It became a routine I had learned to look forward to. I loved coming home, not just for the food or the bed, but for the warm hugs from my mischievous son and the twinkling eyes of my little girl. Seeing them made everything feel lighter. But my wife and I, we barely spoke. Calls became one-sided, just checking in on the kids. Sometimes I'd hear her voice in the background, but we'd avoid each other, even through the phone. One weekend, everything boiled over. One argument turned into a series of harsh words neither of us could take back. We decided to separate. No official papers yet, but emotionally, we were done. I packed my bag and left, this time without a plan to return next weekend. As I was heading out the door, my little boy wrapped his arms around me and whispered, "See you next week, Dad." My heart clenched. I smiled, trying to hide the ache, and walked out. As I drove back to the site, my mind spiraled. I replayed our fights, our silences, our petty reasons. None of them seemed enough to justify what we were throwing away. And then I thought of the kids, of their smiles, of what we were doing to their sense of home. Tears welled up and fell before I realized. I pulled over, leaned onto the steering wheel, and cried like I hadn't in years. Just me and the sound of my own breathing in the stillness of that parked car. Then came a knock. I looked up, wiping my eyes. A young man stood by my window, holding something in his hand. I rolled the window down slightly. He handed me a warm cheeseburger. "I just thought you might need this," he said gently. And then he walked away. I didn't know him. I never saw him before. But that small gesture struck something deep in me. A complete stranger could sense my sadness and show me kindness. And here I was, unable to offer even a fraction of that grace to the woman I once promised to love. Without overthinking, I picked up my phone and called her. When she answered, I said just one word, "Sorry." She didn't reply, but I heard it, the soft, broken sound of her crying. That was enough. I turned the car around. I didn't need a weekend. I needed my family. I found a new job close to home soon after. The pay was less, but the evenings were full of stories, giggles, helping with homework, and healing. Here's what I've learned. Sometimes it's not about grand apologies or fixing everything overnight. Sometimes it's about recognizing the moment when something has to change. And often, that moment comes disguised as a cheeseburger handed to you by a stranger. Kindness is powerful. It heals. It humbles. It teaches. Never be too shy to say sorry. Never let your ego be louder than your love. Life is short, but love, when nurtured, can be long-lasting. The smallest act of compassion can turn a broken moment into a beginning. And sometimes, one act of kindness is all it takes to find your way back home.